Hi, my name is George Rogers. I'm here to share with you some insights I've gained over the past 25 years developing curriculum resources which are currently being used in public, private, and homeschool settings throughout the United States and in some parts of the world. Multitasking is not something I do very well. I'm just not good at it. I wished I were, but I'm not. And so as a developer of educational resources, I use a process which I believe is common to many or most people who do this sort of thing. I take a subject, break it down into smaller pieces, and then assemble those pieces or present those pieces step by step until a student gains a more complete understanding of what it is we're trying to teach them. And so I use this process from simple to complex, and I believe it's a necessary process. I haven't discovered any better. But if that's where we stop, if that's where we finish our work, we often end up with a product that suffers from the limitations that we talked about in video number 3, teaching children, or focusing our efforts on teaching children what to think rather than teaching them how to think. And so now this leads us into our discussion of insight question number 4.
What is a common failure or shortcoming in many or most curriculum products? In my experience, most curriculum is unidimensional. That is to say, a math lesson is simply that. It's an exercise in solving problems associated with numbers, or learning math operations. Similarly, science lessons deal only with the science concept at hand. History lessons typically only deal with events under discussion. A language arts lesson is only a language arts lesson, and character education lessons, if taught at all, only deal with character development principles. For example, a typical arithmetic lesson on integers and whole numbers will only deal with helping students understand how numbers work. In this teaching model, whatever students learn about the concept of integrity and the extent to which their thinking skills may be developed all happen by chance, if at all. Similarly, a typical lesson on the commutative law of math will only deal with the notion that the value of the equation is not affected by how the numbers are arranged. Yet generally ignored is the more important fact that the commutative law establishes the principles of equality and integrity, without which math would be useless. The value of math lies in its assurance of integrity through the condition of equality. The reliance of mathematics on this principle is acknowledged by the designation of whole numbers as integers. Without integrity in numbers, mathematics is at best worthless and at worst injurious. There are many who know how to manipulate numbers, but fail to understand or at least choose to ignore these principles. But on the other hand, manipulation is what we teach. Who is doing much to teach these key principles upon which the foundation of mathematics rests? Again, a reading lesson is typically only a reading lesson, with perhaps some emphasis on comprehension and maybe retention. Certainly the advantages of being able to read and write can hardly be overstated. Ideas are the most powerful things in the world, and the written word is their sacred repository. But this vast repository contains both good ideas and bad ideas. And the most empowering thing in the world is to be able to distinguish good ideas from bad ideas. Throughout history, individuals and nations have ruined themselves for want of this ability. So as we teach our children how to read and write, whether at home or at school, it is incumbent upon us to help them not only learn how to distinguish one word from another, but also how to distinguish one idea from another. Good ideas and bad ideas are not mere matters of opinion or cultural convention, but are established by laws embedded in the very fabric of our existence. The laws of human happiness are codified in the laws of nature and are documented in the histories of nations, the daily news, and our own personal experience. So how can we teach our children to understand these laws and their operations? That's the topic of our next video as we discuss insight question number 5, what is character-based learning? If you've enjoyed this presentation, I invite you to register to receive our other videos in the series on character-based learning. There are 10 in total. And you can do that by going to www.choiceskills.com, and you'll find places there to register for this series. Be sure to tell your friends about us, and thanks for joining in. Look forward to seeing you on video number 5.